When I started getting involved with film, back before I really did color, I found myself very regularly frustrated by the LUTs and looks that existed online. The level of grifting, just for a quick buck, right? A package of really poorly designed LUTs was rampant. But my world changed when I came across this LUT for the first time, the red Pastel LUT. To help understand why this was such a big deal for me, it's helpful to know that there are three main categories of LUTs that exist in the world, although I didn't know these categories at the time. So let's demo these three categories. So I'm gonna start with this red Pastel LUT that I talked about. As I enable and disable it, do you notice what's happening to the footage? This is starting as, flat log footage, and it's not changing into some normalized image. It's just applying some creative choices to the footage. It is respecting the scene. Now you might look at this image and think, that kind of looks like garbage, Barrett. Why is this such a big deal? Well, I'll get back to that. Hold off for a moment. The second category is a technical LUT. So right here I have the Blackmagic manufacturer's LUT that takes you from Blackmagic's Gen 5 log into Rec. 709. So right here was this footage was shot on a Blackmagic camera with their Gen 5 color science, and this is a technical LUT. This LUT is not trying to impart some sort of creative vision on your footage. It's just trying to get you from the log state to the normalized state. Now the last category is a hybrid LUT, and with a hybrid LUT you're doing both these things. You're imparting creative choices as well as technical transformations. So this is actually a LUT that I created for a really fun black and white piece. I've got to do a demo on some of the stuff going on behind the scenes in this LUT because although it's black and white, there's some wild stuff in the background, so I've got to talk about that more at some point. But you'll notice that we are making not only creative choices in the footage, but we're also doing a technical transformation from the log state into Rec. 709. Now, there wasn't anything particularly magical about the creative choices in this red Pastel LUT. In fact, looking back on it, I don't really love it all that much. But this was the first time that I had come across a purely creative LUT. Everything else I had countered up to this point was a hybrid LUT. And this really opened my eyes for what was possible when it comes to look building on a project. It is huge because the flexibility you get with creative LUTs is leaps and bounds greater than with hybrid LUTs. Here's an example of how this can work. I mentioned before that this footage was shot on a Blackmagic camera. So if I were to set up some pretty simple color management, I would do something like this. I would take us from Blackmagic into DaVinci Wide Gamut, which would take us here, and then DaVinci Wide Gamut into Rec. 709. So there we go. There we have a normalized image. But this red LUT is expecting red log 3G10 in and out. So what we can do is we can use the color space transform to get us from DaVinci Wide Gamut to log 3G10, and on the other side, we'll reverse that process. So if I highlight these two nodes and turn them on and off, you'll notice that there is no difference in the footage. But what this allows us to do is slot this LUT in so that it gets properly applied within this color management. So take a look. We now have the look being properly applied to this footage. And what's so cool about scene-referred LUTs is you'll notice I'm using this on a camera that's not a red camera. Here's just another example. Let me grab this footage right here. So this was shot on a Sony camera. So in the group pre-clip, I have Sony to DaVinci Wide Gamut. So let's properly set up this pipeline. We have DaVinci Wide Gamut to Reds log. This gets properly applied in red log. We take red log back to DaVinci Wide Gamut, and then DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate to Rec. 709, which look at that. The LUT is getting properly applied, and we have now used this red LUT on both a Blackmagic camera and a Sony camera. Do you see that this is amazing news? As long as creative looks are built in a scene-respecting way, meaning they don't change the working space we're in, you have so much flexibility in how you use it. If you want to try this LUT out as well as some of the other LUTs in Red's look library, you can find them for free at my resource link in the description. Admittedly, I don't use these LUTs a lot on a regular basis, but I have certain preferences around looks and these don't necessarily fit them, but it certainly is a free resource that I would highly recommend you at least check out. Maybe you'll find something that you'll enjoy in there. Also, if you want a better understanding of color management, check out this video where you will get a foundational understanding of color management in under 8 minutes. If you enjoyed this video, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to not miss any future content. And hitting the like button helps more people see this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one.